Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Rose Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Today, me and Brandon Olsen of Locked Gators talk about the future of the Florida Gators in the new SEC and what our record predictions are for the Florida Gators in the 2023 college football season. Do you think that Florida, in the way the SEC is now and the way college football is now with NIL and all the stuff Florida's having to compete in, can Florida ever return to being a national championship level team, on a consistent basis again? Like, get back to their glory years of the past. Can they do that in modern football?
I think they will eventually. I think it's going to take a while, but I think they will. I mean, again, this is just me saying, like, I trust what Billy Napier is doing process wise. And in recent months, you've seen Florida's NIL game kick up a bit. I mean, look at what happened in June and July recruiting wise. They had like 5 commits. Now they're at 21. And it just really heated up, which thank you, Lane Kiffin, because you ran your mouth a little bit and you pissed off Florida. And then they just went out and took all these players from you. So it's fantastic. But I think they will get there eventually. I do think that there's some things that are pretty major that need to be fine-tuned. Like, I have no problem with Billy Napier's offensive system. It's wide zone style, which you see all throughout the NFL and college. It's 12 personnel, which is becoming more and more prominent in the NFL and college. But it's a matter of when you're calling certain plays, certain decisions that are being made as far as, using your timeouts, winning those middle 8 minutes of the game. Whatever it is, there's certain things that Billy Napier does really need to work on and improve there. But I think right now he's doing the little things right that are kind of going to help get this team back to prominence. I don't like how many Oregon State fans there are in the comment section right now. That 2 is too many for me. But I do think that Billy Napier is doing things to get this program back up to the top, and I do believe that it will eventually get there. I think he'll be given the time to get there. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, how long that actually takes. Will it be 2027 that you're in the college football playoff? Will it be 2030? We'll see. But I think that right now, Florida's trending up. Like last year, I understand after beating Utah, the expectations kind of really climbed after you beat Utah there, because that was an insane game and you won it. And Anthony Richardson looked like he was about to be a Heisman contender. And then it came crashing down. But if you can kind of find this consistency, like last year, the expectation was 5 or 6 wins. You won 6. This year, the expectation, 5 or 6 wins. Who knows how many you'll win? But I mean, right now, expectations are not high. But he's setting things up to be a long-term program builder and getting this program back up to the elite level that it deserves to be at.
Yeah, I think I agree 100%. But I think that you talk about with, Anthony Richardson, that still blows my mind that he didn't even throw a touchdown pass in that Utah game, but he was a Heisman candidate. I mean, yeah, all you got to do is do one 80-yard touchdown run, and you're a Heisman candidate these days. I mean, that was a great game. But to me, it almost like that game backfired on Florida. It did, because Utah got better after that. They improved after that. Florida's just stalled. Like that South Florida game was the one that everyone was like, yeah, this team. It wasn't the Kentucky game. It was the South Florida game. That was bad right there because of the fact there's no way they should have won that game 31-28. It should have been 50-7. That's Florida. I mean, it's Florida, and South Florida is not what they were a few years ago. They're struggling really badly. So that kind of backfired overall. But Florida had a very interesting year last year. But coming into this year, obviously they start with Utah again. Looking at the schedule, they've got tough games up and down, all that kind of stuff. Do you think, like Florida, do you think it's more likely that they make a bowl game versus not? And if you say yes, then what do you think like their record will be like? What are you predicting if you have one for, record prediction for Florida?
I think they're winning 6 games on the dot again. I think that's where they're going to go. They're going to do what they did last year. Like, I don't know if they're going to beat Utah. I will say Utah fans are talking awfully spicy.
Rice Eccles is not the swamp.
For a team that lost last year, they're talking awfully spicy. I did this last week where, Utah fans were like, Rice Eccles Stadium is the best stadium in the Pac-12. Congratulations. Rice-Eccles Stadium at maximum capacity is the second worst average capacity in the SEC. Just attendance-wise last year, they are only better than Vanderbilt in the SEC. So I do not care about you being so tough in the Pac-12. I think that Utah should win that game. I don't know if they will. I think whoever does win it, it's going to be close. Obviously, a lot of it depends on Cam Rising. But the expectation for me, 6 wins. Again, that's what my expectation was last year. That's what my expectation is this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up about Utah Stadium because, yeah, you do get a lot of people saying it's like the best in the country. And I think what helps it, is the altitude. When you're like a team like Florida, you're not used to that kind of stuff because you're playing so low, to sea level and everything. The altitude is a key factor. And I think the other thing is, like you said, how passionate that they are. They are a very passionate fan base. And despite them having a smaller stadium, sometimes that can be to your advantage because it's kind of more condensed and makes it louder than it seems. Kind of like Cameron Indoor in college basketball. Duke's is a lot smaller, their stadium, than, Carolina or Indiana or Kansas or Kentucky, all that kind of stuff. But it's still very loud. I think that's what helps Utah. Because, another stadium a lot of people say is one of the best is Oregon State. And it's very small. Reser Stadium is very small, but they have a very passionate fan base, and they've had some great, crowds, especially when they're playing Oregon. So that's interesting. I don't think that they're going to win either, like you said, but I do think it will be a competitive game as long as Graham Mertz doesn't make mistakes. And I would have to say, 7-5. I think they can do that. I think it's possible they can go 7-5, but 6-6 is a very, possible prediction as well. But it's going to be interesting to see with Florida. I hope they have a really good season in football for the fans because they need it. They really need, to have a really solid year again to, show improvement. You don't want to do too good, though, because then obviously it's going to blow the expectations through the roof. You want that solid build. But yeah, hopefully subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below how you think that the Florida Gators will do in the new SEC and what you think that the Florida Gators record will be in the 2023 college football season. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.